So, to our Week 4 NFL recap, the Jaguars, Jaevon, they beat the Falcons 23-7.
This was a get back game for me after getting slaughtered on college football slate. So I straight bet the Jags, and the Jags didn't fail me. I didn't watch the Toy Story stream. I don't know if anybody else saw that. I saw little clips of it, but
clips.
Didn't really look too
for the
great.
kids, man. For the kids.
Yeah, it's for the kids. But Desmond Ritter didn't look good at all. Kevin gave a crazy stat that Devon Achan has more touchdowns than Kyle Pitts has in his career, and that shows. I wouldn't say. I just don't think the Falcons know how to use him correctly, and they don't really have a quarterback. So I feel like if he's able to get traded to the Niners, we'll figure out a way how to use him. So
never.
But just this game was pretty much this is the Jags' second home, so the Jags are pretty much unbeatable in London for some weird reason.
So Gary, the Broncos, they beat the Bears 31-28.
I wrote down here, Broncos got lucky. They got their first win finally, and they almost lost it. They should have, I wish they let Justin Fields, Toddy always makes fun of him that he's always running the running back, but he played probably one of his better games this season. Obviously, this past game, they had a chance to win it. Sad to see that basically he lost it with what he did at the end there, but hey, they shouldn't. It's just like you got to put your team in the better. You got to believe in your guys. So I feel like they didn't really believe in their guy at the end of the day. So it was kind of sad to see, to be honest with you, because like Chicago's just a mess right now for him. So it's like you want to see him in a situation where they're trying to help him and project him, and you do things that are beneficial for him in his career in terms of like using his running to his advantage more and things of that nature, but at the same time balancing with throwing. But you know what? That's the Bears. They're just always been dysfunctional, and I guess the Broncos should be happy that they finally got a win, even though they're looking better. Their defense is surprising. I'm not surprised. They've been shitty. But it's so funny. Last year, literally was the opposite. The offense was so bad. The defense is being carried. Now it's literally flips the opposite way where the offense is looking a little better. Russ is not looking as bad as last year, doing some good things. You could tell him and Sean Payne are starting to find some little wrinkles in this system to help them, put some points on the board, obviously, with 31 this week. But, they still haven't put a all-around four-quarter game together, which is sad to say because we thought that combo was going to be great.
I'm just still shocked that Matt Eberflus still has a job. Nevertheless, we move on. The Ravens beat the Browns, Jaevon, 28-3.
We saw, kind of like right after during the London game that, Deshaun Watson. Oh, yeah, by the way, Deshaun Watson's not going to play. Wait, what? So DTR ends up getting the first start. Some people were kind of high on him during the preseason.
Ready.
And I just feel like, a lot of people hype up the preseason a little too much because he did play really, really well during the preseason. Was throwing a bunch of touchdowns. And I just feel like the preseason is a totally different world to the regular season. He looked.
Gary learned that.
He looked like he looked like a deer in headlights.
Well, you definitely learned it.
He was getting hit nonstop, and Lamar and Mark Andrews, they kind of rekindled their connection that they've had.
Good for my fantasy.
All over the world. And I think Mark Andrews caught 2 touchdowns. So, or Lamar, he had 2 touchdowns himself. He ran.
And he threw one. Yep. So, cooking.
So Lamar was cooking, and I thought that the Ravens made this defense look. And I've been high on the Browns defense throughout the regular season through these past 4 weeks. So, and been saying they've been the top defense, and the Ravens kind of came in and just, chopped that whole argument down. So, Ravens 3-1, look good.
Gary, in another battle of winless teams, I was about to say unbeaten. In another battle of winless teams, the Vikings, they beat the Panthers 21-13 to get their first win.
Finally, Kirk Cousins, they finally get a W. The Panthers obviously played a good nip-and-tuck game, I guess you could say, but Minnesota needed to win. They've been in they won so many close games last year, so obviously the trend has been they've been losing all those same type of games. So the NFL gods getting them right back, the football gods hitting them right back this year with all the close losses. So they had to pull one out finally. It's good. They actually got a chance. They actually get to be in their contention, I guess, a little bit with the Green Bay and Detroit. So I guess they get to be in the contention just for a second here. But it looks like they should just explode that whole thing up and start over.
Jaevon, the Rams, they beat the Colts 29-23 in overtime.
This game hurt me. I had the Colts on my parlay. I kind of gave up on the game early because Rams kind of just jumped out to like a 23-0 lead, like early, like first half. Rams, or not the Rams, the Colts weren't really able to get anything offensively, anything going. Then they kind of just slowly start chipping away. And they got the 2-point conversion early in the game, and then late when they scored, they got another 2-point conversion. And then I think like kind of at the end of the game, they traded possessions fairly quickly. Like the Colts could have drove down and scored, the Rams could have drove down and scored, but they both I think they went 3 and out on both of those drives and wasn't really able to move the ball. And games ends up going to overtime. Matthew Stafford gets the ball in OT, and Colts never see the ball. They end up driving down the field, scoring. Puka Nacua has another crazy game. The Rams got a little bit of momentum cooking because they have Cooper Kupp coming back too. So, we'll see what this Rams team. Rams, I think the game's in LA this week, so they
can fight people and surprise people.
So if Stafford's healthy, they could be one of those sneaky good teams that can kind of, hey, don't forget about this. We won the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
We got a good quarterback coach.
They got all the Eagles coming to town this week. So Kevin already mentioned that one of their guards is hurt, so Aaron Donald was probably going to have a field day against that poor old man. So, I love Anthony Richardson, what he's been able to do. Could be a little bit more accurate, but I've been saying that he's Cam 2.0, and I've been seeing it just the way that he's been playing, been able to create plays for himself. He's just a little bit more accurate. They probably won that game.
Well, I don't expect the Rams to beat the Eagles this weekend, but I kind of hope that the Rams give the Eagles a little bit of a scare, so maybe Kevin respects the Rams a little bit more, because apparently the Rams, they have absolutely no shot of making the playoffs. But
don't let Cooper Kupp get activated this week.
I know, right? And so, Gary, the Buccaneers, they beat the Saints 26-9.
This is another one of the games that I actually picked wrong. I picked the Saints, but hey, a game of Vaughn said that one time, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, man. I guess, when Mike Evans goes down and you find Godwin in good spots, you could tell he's calm, cool, and collective at the moment. They're not making him do too much. The defense has been playing good. Like, you got to be reminded that, it's like we keep mentioning, they got a couple of Super Bowl pieces that, one with Brady, and they still got they got some Super Bowl pieces. That means they got some vets. They got some of a good culture in there, and they're not making, you don't, the pressure is not on I'm going to say Johnny Manziel, the Baker Mayfield, where, he's had to make too many mistakes. He's doing what's needed and not doing too much, trying to save the day and things of that nature. So shout out to him, man, because, he's basically holding off them drafting his replacement, I guess, in a sense. So it's good for him that, he keeps winning games. They're going to keep going lower in the totem pole of the draft, and, less likely for them to draft a quarterback, more likely if he keeps winning, for him to stay. So I like to see the resurgence for him, and, and he hasn't been I'm glad he hasn't, before maybe he was a little bit more just a young boy where he's probably, if he was doing this, he'd be talking a lot of smack. He's keeping his head tucked. You hear too much from him, and, he's just trying to slowly, surely get stacks and wins up. And before you know it, at the end of the year, you might see this team in the playoffs. You never know. And, hey, one good thing is crazy that I know I heard somebody talking today, but this team right here, the Saints had the Tampa Bay number for a long time. They should have had Brady's number for a while, and the only team that had Brady's number when he was there. And so, him, unlocking that right there and getting them a W is really good for Tampa. So shout out to Baker Mayfield, keeping it going.
Baker Mayfield.
Jaevon, even though Evan doesn't think that my Liberty have any chance to win the WNBA Finals, he was really happy this weekend because his Titans beat the Bengals 23-7.
I think you said Tom Brady about the Aces.
Tom Brady. Well, Tom Brady is a minority owner.
I know it, Shaun. I was hoping that was on the pop quiz.
I was shocked by this score because, I thought the Bengals ended up getting some life on Monday Night Football, even though they didn't particularly look good during the entire outing against the Rams because Joe Burrow is obviously still hurt, can't really push the ball down the field as much.
Still hurt,
I think the Bengals want to hold Burrow out, and Burrow is there's no way.
They thought he's going to win on 80% probably, but he ain't. So
yeah, so
because your line sucks.
And I feel like that affects the run game too as well because Joe Mixon hasn't really been able to find a crease. He did find a little bit of a crease.
I haven't heard his name all year.
Yeah, he did. I think he did score on Monday Night Football, but pretty much the entire year he hasn't really been able to do anything.
I got Joe Burrow on my fantasy.
Yeah,
every league, my quarterback.
Yeah, trade Joe Burrow. So
you gotta believe.
I think, this Titans team, they're just a weird team, man. Like I really can't explain
What's that one thing I said one time? They're gritty or they're like something I said. Y'all made fun of me.
Oh damn, I forgot too. Shaun will probably remember. He'll probably remember. But,
what's that one word I said it wrong? But I was like not grimy, gritty, or something like that.
I forgot. We kept fucking with him. It was all. I think it was a couple weeks ago. But
I'll review the tape.
It's hard to with Ryan Tannehill as your quarterback, the inconsistencies and them trying to get DeAndre Hopkins involved, and Derrick Henry hasn't really been able to do anything all year, and him, scoring a touchdown and throwing for a touchdown this past game. I know. It was all smiles in Tennessee. So
a follow through on that
one. Tennessee is like a team that I just never want to bet because I never know what they're going to be. They could be really bad one week when they play against the Browns and couldn't score a touchdown, but this week they scored 27 points. So against a team who I thought that they would probably lose to. I think most of us picked the Bengals to win this game. I think all of us, in all honesty, picked the Bengals to win. But this Tennessee team, I can't figure them out. I have no idea what they are.
I bet it's the first time. I don't know if the stats are correct, but I bet it's the first time Joe Burrow left the Bengals game, and other than maybe his ACL injury day, that he didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah.
I guess we can just keep pointing the finger at his calf, but Bengals don't look good. Even Jamar Chase said after the game, he was like, always open.
Why always receivers say some shit? I wonder they always be. I feel like that's like the worst person to ask at the end of the game. Like every receiver is always just pissed at the end of the game, no matter what. But then the next game, they're all happy jollies. It's like part of the thing. So it's kind of like take a grain of salt, but it's still like why?
For sure. And so the Chargers, they beat the Raiders 24-17. Gary, I'm keeping this one myself because this is personal. 3 weeks ago, I had to come on here and I had to apologize because I had Raider Nation in my DMs. I had them in the YouTube comments. Even Marcellus, who's a Niners fan, was saying, how about them Raiders?
They won the week one.
Since the Raiders won by 1 point against the Denver Broncos, who couldn't get their first win until beating another winless team, being the Chicago Bears, the Raiders have gone 0-3. They got slapped around by Kenny Pickett and made him look like a competent quarterback.
Thank you.
Gary, I didn't want to say shit earlier about Kenny Pickett, Gary, because I'm sorry about his knee injury. I'm glad that he's not going to be out for very long. But the reality is, I still feel the way I do about him. The Raiders made him look like a starting quarterback in the NFL. The Raiders got slapped around by the Bills. And then they lose to the Chargers, who always seem to find any way to possibly lose until the Raiders throw an interception at the very end.
This game should have been dominant.
It should have been dominant for the Chargers. That is certainly true. Khalil Mack had 6 sacks, which is the second most in a single game all time. He got his revenge against the Raiders from years ago. But, I mean, the Raiders are who we thought they were. They are who I thought they were. I had to fall on the sword because of a week 1 win. I was wrong, but now who's looking?
It really was 24-7 at one point. They always got to make it close. I don't know why the Chargers. Feel bad for Herbert, man. It's always a coach too. I think always coach. It's like the same thing every single time. This coach's decisions are getting. I never seen a coach's decisions get so much like scrutinized, but it's like correct scrutinism. Like it's right that he's like everyone's getting on him for a reason. Scrutiny right here for him. And it's just like like I never seen a coach getting cooked right so much by the media, but at the same time they're so right. So right.
Well, James is in the comments. This is for you, Toddy. He says, I was at the house with Cousin Bear and Uncle Loon watching the Raider game at the end. It was so funny watching them scream.
They're all Raider fans over there at Bears house, basically. Yeah.
Well, I feel bad for Raider Nation because you guys have to endure
a lot.
So in addition to Marcellus and Isaac, I also wanted to give a shout out to my guy, Sam Commenti, because in Gary, you were in this group chat in my fantasy football league that I've been running for like 7 years.
Yeah, we're getting off. I didn't read it. But
as is Sam. Well, Sam basically compared Aiden O'Connell, the Raiders quarterback from Sunday. He compared Aiden O'Connell to Brock Purdy, Jaevon,
Oh,
and
don't
he
do that.
said that he said that he was going to have just as much success as Brock Purdy did when he walked in, just ignoring not only the difference in quarterbacks, but mainly the surrounding talent. And
he got Devontae Adams.
We tried.
And Myers has been cooking too. I'm not gonna lie.
There's Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. He hasn't been. Someone put out an MIA for him because he's
changed his number and messed up.
Yeah, I guess so. And so basically, we tried to explain to him in the chat that the 49ers have countless weapons. The Raiders realistically have one. So to expect Aiden O'Connell to come in and play just like Brock Purdy did as a rookie, that was unrealistic. And Sam, I hope that you saw it for yourself. And
Sam's a Raider fan?
No longer. Yeah, Sam Clementi. He is a Raider fan, and he's one of the good ones. He constantly remains optimistic. Constantly remains optimistic despite all the bullshit. And so shout out to Sam. And also Isaac, Marcellus, I got my get back. Anyways, this is supposed to be quick, so let's keep it quick. Gary, your family's Cowboys beat the Patriots 38-3 to give Bill Belichick the biggest loss in his coaching career.
The GOAT.
Bounce back right there, Grip. The GOAT. The bounce back win right there for the Cowboys, as they should have done. You know, they always beat the team they're supposed to be down when they're running ahead. They're getting defensive touchdowns, or they're ahead of the game, the head of the sticks, my coach would say. They're killing it. They're killing it. They're always winning. You know what I'm saying? But they're going to run into a buzzsaw next week. Obviously, yes, I pick you guys on to win this one. That is in my picks already. You guys will win next week. You guys should be happy and thankful for that. I ain't gonna lie, I just thought it'd be a good game to go to. I've actually been to a Cowboys Niners.
Too expensive.
Expensive game.
Too expensive.
The only game, the first ever game I actually went to, guys, fun fact, was Cowboys versus Niners with Uncle Manny and all the Cowboys fans. And I'm not gonna lie, that was fun. I'm not gonna lie, that was fun. It was a lot of shit talking. Nah, it was like a couple years ago. I went. Okay. Kaepernick was on the team. That's when I went. So, anyways, side note, but
we were so garbage.
I think that was a good game, actually. I think that year. I think it was Romo and Kaepernick going at it type of thing. I think so. I'm pretty sure. Okay. But anyways, Cowboys. Again, when they're on top of the hill, they're running. They're rolling. They're rolling. They're rolling. When they're rolling, they're rolling. But when they're not rolling, it's looking bad. So I'm glad. 11 from Heaven got to come back in his game. He got injured for a quick second. I looked kind of scary, to be honest with you. I thought, felt bad for him because I'm like, man, he's podcast. I remember last year, Vaughn got injured. He started his podcast, got injured. I'm like, damn, hopefully the podcast ain't the, Draymond just got injured. Y'all seen that? He's injured. And I'm like, man, if you got a podcast, you might be getting in. I don't know. Is that like the bug right now? Hopefully not, man. I like seeing these athletes talk about it. Give us all different perspectives from, their fan perspective sometimes and the athlete's perspective, and also mixed up with our perspective. So it's all good to hear in the sports world. So, you know what? There was a pretty good game from them. We'll just see yours again. TBD. We'll see what they do going forward. I don't still believe in the Cowboys because they got a lot of faults. Because again, Dak Prescott, when he has that 2-minute drill, he fails, as we've seen. I think last week when he threw the pick. So we'll wait till we see that moment again. Until he proves that moment wrong, I'll start believing the Cowgirls win.
Gary, I'm going to toss this back to you because I want to hear the final game from Jaevon. But the Chiefs, they beat the Jets 23-20.
The Jets, man, you threw me the baby goat. Thanks, Shaun. You know what? Again, Vaughn, we're talking about the beginning of the season. You're talking about, I still remember what you said at the beginning of the show. Good teams cover. This team great teams cover. Good teams don't. The good teams win. I know, Shaun. The
spreads are ridiculous. It's hard to say that about them when they're favored by like 10 every game.
Exactly. So they're never going to cover. So that statement was they never covered, Ron. You don't bet the Chiefs.
Hey, the crazy part is they were supposed to cover because Patrick Mahomes literally slid at the end.
You don't want y'all to win.
So many people were so pissed off at Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, I'd be pissed about it too, to be honest. If I bet, that's why I'm retired from betting. But I like still betting, get my picks right though. But anyways, you know what? I seen Colin. I'm gonna steal this from Colin Cowherd. Oh well, I don't care because it's obviously LeBron, so I gotta steal it. What else? But hey, it's true. It's the LeBron effect in terms of he might have a couple hiccups during the year, but what he's gonna do at the end. He's gonna be in the chip. The Chiefs are gonna be in the chip. They're gonna have a chance to win the chip. They're gonna be fine for chips every single year as long as they're in this league. As long as you got Travis Kelce and you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Big Red on the sideline. you could put little like we're seeing right now. You could put any receivers on the field. They're gonna have a chance to win versus any team. You know, they might have a bad quarter here and there, might have a bad mistake here and there. But what we seen yesterday, that man that did anyone have a doubt when he had time on the clock that he's gonna go score? Like there wasn't no doubt. I don't know if y'all shouldn't.
Bro, there was like 3 3rd and 20s. They converted on all of them.
That's Mr. Mahomes, the Magic Man, the baby goat for
with
you.
Yellow laundry.
There was some yellow laundry on one of them, but there was one where he ran. There was one where he ran for like 25 yards.
Exactly.
And it was like 3rd and 20, and I was like,
yep, exactly. So, you know what? Obviously, they're on my AFC team, but I kind of take this as an NBA route where, like, NBA kind of pick your favorite players. Patrick Mahomes is my favorite quarterback, so I'm gonna keep riding with him. And yeah, they're gonna keep on chopping away. We don't gotta worry or talk about them to the end of the year, really, when they're in the Super Bowl versus who knows who, and they're going again back to back. So, Chiefs doing Chief things. Go ahead.
Hey Gary, I'm glad that you mentioned LeBron. I'm not gonna play the sound. Jaevon knows exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm sure you saw LeBron tweeting about Christian McCaffrey. But did you hear what LeBron had to say about the 49ers before they played the Cardinals yesterday?
Oh, I did watch LeBron because I just woke up, changed my fantasy lineup. I go on Instagram, I see LeBron went live, and it's like popped up on my thing.
Bro, LeBron went 11-2.
And then LeBron, and then he picked 11-2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I seen him start like going like picking the teams and stuff like that. And I was like, LeBron's basically got his own podcast. I was like, he can get paid a lot of money to. I don't know why he doing this on live in the morning, just relaxing.
How many people were on his live? Like
I don't know. I just seen like after like it was done, then that he like, posted it or something like that. I was thinking in my head, I was like, LeBron. I mean, you got so much money in the world, whatever, but like, man, I bet you someone would just like he was hosting basically to himself, like going through that stuff. And I was like, you can easily have someone to pay him a big meal ticket for sitting at home every Sunday morning for 30 minutes or for 9:30 to 10 o'clock to do his picks and get a real bag. I was just like, man, but yeah, I didn't see what he said, but what did he say about the Niners? They're all going to lose?
No. He said a lot of good stuff. He'll save a lot of good. He said a lot of good stuff. You can check the group chat after this because Toddy already sent it. In the SOP.
Well, he was being honest about everybody how he's feeling, to be honest. But he thought his Browns were going to win.
He was, to put it lightly, he was drooling all over. He was drooling all over the Niners yesterday, and I wanted to play it earlier. When Kevin was here. I was going to do a whole LeBronologist thing, but I kind of just let it go for the sake of time. Check it out. LeBron had a lot of good things to say.
Well, that's one thing. I'm a LeBron fan. That's one thing we aren't going to agree on. The Browns and like
he's gonna become a Niner fan.
He's gonna be. He definitely ain't going to no Rams games. So Jaevon, the Seahawks, they beat the Giants 24-3 on Monday Night Football.
So pretty much Seattle controlled the entire game. Saw Geno Smith go out with the injury. Drew Lock almost threw. He came in, and Shaun knows how high, air quotes, I was high on Drew Lock at one point in time when he was with the Broncos. So. Daniel Jones doesn't really have a line. You saw Brian Daboll kind of toss the iPad. That was pretty hilarious after I think it was after his pick 6 that he threw. So it's hard, when you're kind of pretty much under duress the entire time. You don't really have time to throw the ball. We kind of mentioned that earlier in the podcast about, having bad lines. And the Giants, I kind of predicted this early in the season. People kind of called me crazy. I was like, the Giants, I don't really see the wins. I was like, they're going to start 1-5, 1-6. Early on, they're like, hey, Brian Daboll, coach of the year. I'm like, teams start to catch up to you after 1 year. And I never really, was bought in to Daniel Jones, but the Giants did, 40 million reasons. But, the Seahawks won. Seahawks definitely covered the spread for me. Shout out Seahawks, even though I am a avid hater on the Seahawks for what they've done to us over the years. But covered for me tonight, so go on.
So did DK.
Yeah. Oh, no, yeah. I definitely looked back at my parlay for the DK ticket. Definitely had him over in yards, too. I just took him for a touchdown. I took him for yards, too. You can't get greedy, guys. Don't get greedy. So, the original ticket was Kenneth Walker and DK Metcalf touchdown, but I took off Christian. I took off Kenneth Walker touchdown and put DK yards on there, but it is what it is.
It